From anime to VTubers to K-pop, which collab do you think the players want the most? Find out soon, but first, let me tell you about the best emulator around. LDPlayer 9 is now available with the smoothest gameplay, the most stable connection, and a ton of tailor-made features just for Epic 7. So before you tell old Car here which collab you want the most, please do yourself a favor and use the links in the description below and in the pinned comment to start using LDPlayer right now. Help Car at the same time. Thank you guys for always being cool with these. Thank you to LD for sponsoring us, and without further ado, let's get into the video. What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Epic 7 video. Today, let's go ahead and talk about all things collaboration. I want to talk about a few PSAs in terms of if we're expecting a new collaboration, if we're going to expect the 2 reruns by the end of this year, and then of course we're going to cover the community survey and the results. What you guys voted for is quite interesting. So let's cover all of that here in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and without further ado, let's break it down. All right, guys, I have the chart open up, the survey results for the open-ended section where you guys fill in the blank for your most wanted collab voted by y'all. Let's go ahead and check this out together. Stay tuned right after, guys. I'm going to talk about what the collab situation is in Epic 7, what to expect by the end of the year, and why we may, this might be the first year, I'll say this, 2023 will be the first year Epic 7 will not get a new collaboration. So I would love to see some of the stuff we're about to talk about. I hope to see them next year. But I would almost bet on it, guys, that this year we're not going to get a new collab. There's just no time left, and I'm going to talk about what changes I think we need to make coming into the next year to see some of these awesome IPs, games, shows we're about to discuss. Alrighty, guys, come join me on the top right here, and we have number 1 on the list, the biggest piece of the pie. We have FGO with a 15.7%. FGO stands for Fate Grand Order, and Josh told me this encompasses all of Fate, not necessarily just the game. Now, Fate is such a big universe, such a big brand. I think this would fit so well in Epic 7, has fantasy elements, some of the best aesthetics, visuals in the business. So it would just be a clear win. There's so many characters to choose from as well. I've watched, I think, Unlimited Blade Works, Apocrypha, Fate Zero, the original one, I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, I don't know enough about the characters to really say I have a favorite that I'd want to see. Saber or Alexander, I think was his name, would be fine for me. But with how many you can choose from, I've seen people send me pictures of some of the FGO characters and they look awesome. I think Fate, I agree with the community here that number 1 is a fitting spot in terms of just how big it is, how many new players it'd bring in, and the great looking characters would fit seamlessly, I think, into Epic 7. So great pick here, number 1, guys, for Fate. Number 2, we have Overlord. Now, this might be my own personal pick. I can't remember if I voted this, but Overlord is second, and I love it. Overlord is an anime, manga, just an isekai. I believe it's an isekai, right? Yeah. There's been so many seasons, I can't remember how it originated, but I believe that this would fit just like Fate very well in Epic 7. Fantasy elements and a ton of characters to choose from. You got to have the main character, the Overlord himself, obviously, but in terms of a character that I want to see alongside him, I got to get Albedo in there, boys. As long as she's there, I'd be a very happy camper. So Overlord, great pick as well. I like this in the second spot position. Now, Nier, the third one, is one I also am not super experienced with. I did play one of the most recent Nier games. I think it came out on Steam like a few years ago. But I know it's just a big game that has a lot of different types of media. And I did see it collab with Nikkei, and it looked amazing there. I know 2B and 2B and A2, I think their names were in there. And A2 would be my own personal pick, but I don't know enough about the game, the story, the characters to really talk about that too much. I just know this would be a big win as well. They are known for collabing with other games. And even though it may not fit super well, I think it would fit okay enough into Epic 7. I think that's a great third pick, Nier Automata. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Next up, guys, is Jujutsu Kaisen. That's what JJK stands for. The bottom right one here, number 4, 10.4% on the list. And this one, guys, I could talk about this forever. It's currently ongoing, so I recommend you guys to pick it up and watch this anime if you haven't already. No spoilers. I won't do any spoilers in this entire video. But I think this would be an amazing anime. It's relevant right now. People are talking about it, and I think that's pretty important too. You want collabs that will bring in, that are generating a lot of buzz, that will bring people in, get people excited, and I think JJK right now is popping off. In terms of characters, the funny thing is, guys, in JJK, I like all the male characters. Pick any one of them, but Itadori, Gojo, Toji, I can't say any spoilers, but almost any of the characters I think would work really well from JJK in here. I don't know if I could pick one absolute favorite. Megumi even with the summons. But yeah, check out JJK if you haven't. I think that's a great number 4 pick here. Number 5 on the list, we have Mushoku Tensei. This is probably one of the older isekais in the business, and a lot of people say it's one of the best. I think I agree overall. Love this anime, and just like Fate, just like Overlord, I think it fits super well in Epic 7 with the fantasy elements. My own personal pick here, guys. Assuming they have Rudeus in there, right? And then maybe one other main character. I think I got to go with Ghislaine, who is kind of a side character, so I doubt she'll appear. But if they did, I'd be so happy. I'd triple S off the bat. Mushoku overall, though, I think is a great pick. Now, this one, number 5 here on the list, guys. Sorry, excuse me, number 6. We have Bleach with 9.6%. And Bleach, I love. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if it's a very good anime, but it's one of the first I super got into. There's just sometimes when an anime gets too popular, a game. So Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, Final Fantasy, I think those are such big household names that I think seeing an Epic 7 might take me out a little bit. But overall, I think it'd be just fine. And just like the other, some of these other ones on the list, there's so many characters to choose from. You could choose any of the captains. You got to have Ichigo in there, of course. Alongside him, I'd like to see probably, let's go with, there's so many good characters to choose from, but let's go with Yoruichi or maybe in Matsumoto. If you guys know, you know. Next up on the list, we have Demon Slayer, who a lot of people say is overrated. I think it went through a phase of it getting overhyped or being super hyped, and now viewers of the anime have kind of said, you know, that it gets overhyped here and there, but I still think it's amazing. I think it's some of the best animation currently on air. And yeah, overall, just very good. The characters are a little bit basic. The storyline's a little bit basic, but I think the characters would fit pretty well in Epic 7, and I do think it's popular enough. It's so popular, I think, that it would fit super well. In terms of the characters, though, I don't really mind any of the 3 main swordsmen, or they could pick some of the Hashira if they want to spice it up, but I almost wouldn't be unhappy with any of the characters they choose to pick. I don't think I have a favorite. Next up, guys, is One Piece. Now, this one, oh my goodness. This also might be a little bit it might be so big, it might take my immersion out a little bit, especially because now people, grandparents are watching Netflix version of One Piece, so it's definitely a household name. But this is probably the world building, the definition of the best world building anime, manga out there. I think it would be very good for Epic 7 if we could combine this. The fan base is so huge. We get such a big influx of players. You got to have Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. But I personally, I'd like to see Robin, Chopper, or let's say Boa Hancock on the crew, at least for our playable characters to summon for. Right? I think those would be awesome. Now, next up, guys, I'm going to need y'all's help. Hololive, I know almost nothing about. I think Gargura is on there. But I don't know too much about the VTuber Hololive situation. It's not my cup of tea. But I'll say this. Espa and K-pop are not my cup of tea either, but I enjoyed the Espa collab enough. I think it brought in a different type of player to Epic 7. So if Hololive does the same, I'd be okay with it. I would choose almost anything other than Hololive, but I think I'd be okay. All right, last but not least, guys, for the top 10, we have Konosuba. Haven't watched too much of this, but I did watch the movie. I've seen a few episodes here and there. I know the character is okay enough, and I think this would be fine. I think I've heard of them collabing with other games in the past, so it'd be pretty good. I don't know how relevant it is or talked about as much as some of these other anime on the list, but I think it's good enough, and if I had to choose a character to have in the game, I gotta go with Darkness. All right, guys, and let me just quickly show y'all before we talk about the ending topic here. Some of the other ones on the list. Konosuba was the last, but there's things on here that y'all voted. Persona, Chainsaw Man, Final Fantasy, Fairy Tail, Naruto, Sword Art Online, Madoka Magica. Some of these are amazing. Madoka Magica actually was what a lot of the player base thought one of the collabs would be, guys. There was a live stream, I think, from Epic 7 Korea, where they were talking about an upcoming collab, and there was a Madoka Magica plushie in the background, and the player base erupted with rumors, gossip. We thought that would be the collab. It ended up not being, obviously. But you got One Punch Man, Berserk, Tower God, Eminence, and Shadow. Some of these are amazing. I love these. I'm familiar with most of them. Just a few like Hololive up here I don't really know too much about, but I like overall where our community is going with this. I would love to see some of these names in Epic 7. I think collabs are some of the most exciting parts, bringing in other audiences, bringing just other communities into the game, and also for the Epic 7 players as well. I think some of the most exciting ways to get new characters on top of that. So ultimately, guys, love it. I agree with 99% of these picks. Maybe just the order I would change around from 1 to 10. But other than that, let's go ahead and wrap up the last topic. I mentioned we might not get a new collaboration this year for Epic 7. I almost am certain of that. And I don't even know if we'll get one next year, guys, unless Smilegate does this And don't get mad at me, but I think Smilegate needs to cut out Guilty Gear. It's the oldest running collab. I love Guilty Gear, but it's time to make way for newer collaborations. There's just too many right now to fit inside a year. We're seeing that happen in real time at the end of 2023. There's not enough space to space out all these collab banners, even if you overlap them, like we just saw with the most recent one with ReZero and stuff. But yeah, if you don't have a Guilty Gear character, don't worry. Smilegate or Epic 7 can do what Summoner's War does and just create those same characters. So, for example, Soul, Baiken, Dizzy, Elfelt, and Jacko can just have their own versions of original Epic 7 characters with the same kit and same artifacts. So players that need to utilize, let's say they needed Baiken to one-shot Banshee, Smilegate will create a Baiken clone that is an original Epic 7 character with the same kit. Yeah, they will never get Baiken, who I wouldn't want to miss out on, but it's a way for them to replace some of the rerunning collabs with new and fresh material. I want some fresh new content coming into 2024. I want this game to continue on, and I think it's time we axe some of the old collabs. It might be a hot take. Let me know what you guys think about that. But overall, thank you so much for tuning in. I love to see what you guys voted for. I could talk forever about any of these anime shows. Stop by the live stream, guys. That's what I pretty much do all the time. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, guys.